The Galactic Council had labeled humanity as Category 7, dangerously unpredictable, for 3 reasons. First, humans felt pain, but often ignored it. Second, they formed emotional bonds with anything that moved. Third, and most concerning, they possessed an irrational compulsion to help others, even at great personal cost. Harry Chen was about to prove all 3 points simultaneously. The 17-year-old human stood in the obsidian throne room of Emperor Zarkoth, supreme ruler of the Draconian Imperium, with his hands raised in what he hoped was a non-threatening gesture. Around him, 24 Imperial guards pointed plasma lances at his chest, their reptilian faces twisted in barely contained rage. "Please," Harry said, his voice cracking. "I'm not here to cause trouble. I just need to speak with the Emperor." "Silence, mammal," hissed Commander Vexthar, the head of the Imperial Guard. "You will be vaporized for this intrusion." "Wait." The voice rumbled like distant thunder, emanating from the massive crimson dragon who sat upon the throne. Emperor Zarkoth was 15 meters long from snout to tail, with scales that gleamed like polished rubies and eyes that burned with ancient fire. "Let the humans speak. I am curious why one so young would infiltrate my palace." Harry's heart hammered against his ribs. He'd spent 3 weeks planning this moment, sneaking aboard supply ships, bribing dock workers with Earth chocolate, and learning just enough Draconian to not get immediately executed. Emma, his best friend back on the human colony of New Terra, had called him insane. She was probably right. "Your Majesty," Harry began, bowing clumsily. "I heard about your wife. About Empress Shalvera." The temperature in the throne room dropped 10 degrees. Every guard tensed. Emperor Zarkoth's eyes narrowed to burning slits. "You dare speak her name? I know she's dying." Harry continued quickly, words tumbling out before courage failed him. "I know she's pregnant with your heir, and that your doctors can't save both her and the egg. I know you've consulted every specialist in 70 star systems, but you haven't talked to humans." "Humans?" Zarkoth's laugh was bitter. "Your species has been spacefaring for barely 50 years. What could you possibly know of Draconian biology?" "Nothing," Harry admitted. "But we know about impossible choices, about refusing to give up, about doing whatever it takes." He reached slowly into his jacket, causing every weapon in the room to charge with lethal intent. "I'm reaching for a data chip. That's all. Please, don't incinerate me yet." Commander Vexthar snatched the chip from Harry's hand and scanned it. His eyes widened. "My Emperor. This appears to be medical research. It's a case study," Harry explained. 20 years ago, my mother was pregnant with my sister Emma. She developed a condition that would have killed them both. The doctors said to choose. My father refused. He found a retired surgeon who'd developed an experimental procedure. Something so risky, no one would attempt it. But it worked. Both my mother and Emma survived. Zarkoth leaned forward, his massive head descending, until Harry could feel the heat radiating from his scales. "And you believe this human procedure could help my wife?" "I don't know," Harry said honestly. "But the surgeon who saved my family, Dr. Sarah Chen, my aunt, she's spent the last 2 decades studying xenobiology. When I heard about your situation through the diplomatic channels, I contacted her. She thinks there might be a way. It's dangerous, experimental, but it's a chance." "Why?" The Emperor's voice was barely a whisper. "Why would you risk your life to bring this to me? Your species and mine have been enemies for a generation. Draconian fleets burned 3 of your colonies before the ceasefire." Harry met the dragon's burning gaze without flinching. "Because I've seen what love looks like when it's desperate. I remember my father's face when the doctors told him to choose. I remember him screaming that he wouldn't lose either of them, that he'd tear the universe apart finding another way." His voice broke. "You're making the same face right now, Your Majesty. And I couldn't. I couldn't just do nothing." The throne room fell silent except for the crackling of plasma lances. Emperor Zarkoth stared at the human teenager for what felt like an eternity. Then, slowly, the ancient dragon lowered his head, his eyes glistening with something that looked suspiciously like tears. "Commander Vex Thar," the Emperor said softly, "lower your weapons. Bring me the data chip." The next 6 hours blurred together. Dr. Chen arrived via emergency jump gate, arguing passionately with the Imperial medical team. Harry sat in a waiting chamber, flanked by guards who no longer pointed their weapons at him but watched with an unsettling mix of curiosity and respect. When Emperor Zarkoth finally emerged from the medical wing, his eyes found Harry immediately. "The procedure was successful," the Emperor said, his voice thick with emotion. "Both my wife and our egg will survive. Doctor, Chen says Shalvera should make a full recovery within a week." He paused, and when he spoke again, his words carried the weight of an oath. "Harry Chen of Earth, you have given me back my family. The Draconian Imperium owes you a debt that can never be fully repaid. Name your reward, and if it is within my power, it shall be yours." Harry thought of Emma, waiting anxiously back home for news. He thought of the burned colonies, the families torn apart by war, the hatred that festered between their species. "Peace," Harry said simply, "but understanding between humans and Draconians. Let this be the beginning of that." Emperor Zarkoth's laugh was warm this time, filled with genuine joy. "You are either the wisest diplomat I have ever met, or the most foolish teenager in the galaxy." He extended one massive claw. "But you have your peace, Harry Chen. I swear it on the life of my unborn child." As Harry carefully shook the dragon's claw, he couldn't help but smile. Emma was going to be insufferable when she found out she'd been right about humans being insane. But sometimes, insanity was exactly what the galaxy needed. 3 months later, when Princess Zarkoth hatched healthy and strong, the first non-Draconian invited to witness the ceremony was a 17-year-old human boy who'd proven that courage and compassion knew no species boundary. And when Emperor Zarkoth formally signed the Treaty of New Terra, establishing the first true alliance between humans and Draconians, he did so with a pen gifted by Dr. Sarah Chen, a simple earth ballpoint that would be preserved in the Imperial archives. As a symbol of the day, humanity taught the galaxy that even the smallest act of kindness could change history.